Okay. Okay, so we're in the last part of the macroecons. Okay, last of the last. So today I'll finish it up and then that's it already. Okay. Now, so we are doing the macro policies today. Okay, macroeconomic policies. Basically, a rule of thumb is that when we talk about macroeconomic policies, you just think about this thing. It's basically measures, okay, done by government to influence the ADAS model to achieve the goals. So actually, we're not learning anything new. 80% of macro policy is still about the ADAS model. So the ICE peak, QQ plus cell, and plus tech and cost of production. Okay. So let's talk about policy. So they are basically government policies is divided into two types. Okay. A is what we call the demand side policies. So policies to influence AD. Okay. So B is supply side policies. Okay, policies to influence AS. Okay, so that's for policies. So if you look at the question, if you look at it, okay, it's all in the last few pages. We are at chapter 9 now. Here, okay, chapter 9. Then for you all, it should be about page 50. Is it 50? So can you see? Demand side policies. Okay. Now, exchange rate policy is also a demand side policy. Okay. Okay, exchange rate policy is under monetary policy. Okay, and then supply side policies. Conflicts is a special subtopic. I will talk about it later. Okay, so your focus, okay, it's going to be very fast because I want to finish it up quick, okay? It's not that hard, okay, because it's not something new. As I say, it's 80% things that you have learned. Okay, so let's go. So go back, you can read it up yourself, okay? I will just want to summarize it, okay? It's not that hard, okay? I'll summarize it. Even limitations, I'll give you an acronym for it, okay? So when we talk about policies, okay, when starting policies, same as a market failure policy, you should break your notes, okay, or your structure into three parts. Okay, what are three parts? Number one, okay, how the policy works. Okay, how the policies work. Basically, how to influence ADAS. Number two, okay, what are the benefits of policies? i.e., okay, link it to the goals. And number three, the drawbacks of the policies, the limitations. Okay, limitations of the policies. Now, so let's go straight into the demand side policies now. Okay. Now, let's talk about a few things. Number one, okay, let's talk about there is this thing. Let's talk about fiscal policy. So demand side policy is divided into two parts: fiscal policies and monetary policies. Okay, fiscal policies and monetary policies. So if you look at fiscal policies, can you see? Fiscal policy. Okay, 1.1. Monetary policy is your 1.2. Okay, or sorry, number 2. Okay, number 2. So this is part 1 of chapter 9. And monetary policy is part 2 of chapter 9. Okay, now, so fiscal policies, let me just explain what things that you must know. Number one, okay, there's this thing called fiscal automatic stabilizers. This one, they won't test you, it's just good to read. Okay, so fiscal automatic stabilizers, these are basically measures already put in place, okay, that will help to dampen the potential, okay, huge swings of AD. Okay, can? So fiscal automatic stabilizers, or what we call it, non-discretionary fiscal policy. Okay. Now, so if you read other notes, okay, they might give you a very big explanation for it. You can just read it for fun. They will not be tested. Okay. H2, yes, they might test you for a shock component. Okay. So it's called non-discretionary because the government doesn't need to do anything. It's already put in place. Okay. So what are two examples? Okay. So, one, progressive income tax system. Okay. Okay, and or, okay, welfare transfers. Okay, so these are the two discretionary fiscal policies or non-discretionary fiscal policy. Okay, these are the two non-discretionary fiscal policies, or known as automatic stabilizers or fiscal stabilizers. Okay, they help to stabilize it. Okay, they help to stabilize it. How does it work? Okay, so let's talk about the progressive income tax. What is this? This is basically, okay, the higher the income earned, the higher the marginal income tax paid. Okay, marginal income tax. Marginal income tax. Okay, the higher the income earned, the higher the marginal income tax paid. Not average. Average, definitely, as you earn, for sure, average will go up. Okay, but progressive means marginal. So marginal is because, for example, okay, so let me, okay, let's say this is the marginal income tax rate. Okay, percentage. This is the income earned. Okay, so let's say okay, maybe it should be the other way around. So let's say from the 0th dollar to the first 1,000th dollar, okay, you pay 0% income tax. Okay, then from 1,001th dollar to the 5,000th dollar, okay, you pay 5% income tax. Then from the 5,001th dollar to maybe $10,000, you pay 10% income tax. Then from the $10,001 onwards, okay, you pay 15% income tax. Okay, so this is what we call an example of a marginal income tax, progressive income tax system. Okay, the higher you earn, the marginal income tax will get higher. Okay, so the opposite of progressive income tax is regressive. The higher the income you earned, the lower the marginal income tax rate that you pay. Okay, in real life, of course, there's no government that will do that. Okay, however, it is a common consensus that your goods and services tax, your GST, okay, has regressive effects. Okay, why, you don't have to know, okay, but I mean, like, it's basically goods and services tax. If they increase, no matter what, you still have to eat rice, right? In a sense, right? So the increase in the price of rice due to GST will be a higher burden on the lower income classes, okay, than the high income groups. That's why they say that GST is regressive in nature. Okay. Now, so for Singapore, the highest marginal income tax is 22%. Okay, previously it was 21%, it increased to 1% after a big hoo-ha during the 2011 elections and 2015 elections. Okay, so they move it to 22. Now, but do take note that, okay, average income tax is not marginal. Average income tax is basically total tax paid divided by total income earned. Okay, so average income tax is different from marginal income tax. Okay, Ken? So if you look at it, so let's say this example here, let's say for a person earning 12K a month. This one is about, I'm talking about like per month. Okay, of course, you pay tax based on the annual income, okay? How much tax does he pay? So, 1,001 to $5,000, he will pay 4,000 times 5%. First 4,000. Okay? Then the second 5,000 plus 5,000 times 10%. Okay? Then 4 plus 5 is 9,000, right? So 3,000 will be on this 10,000 bracket. Am I correct? 10,000 to $12,000. So that's 3,000. So plus 3,000. So you pay 15% income tax. So it'll be equal to, so 4,000 and 5%, $200. 10%, 200 plus 500, $700. $700 plus another $450. She only pays $1,150. Okay, so if you realize the average income tax this person pays is equal to, okay, 1150 divided by 12,000, which is less than 10%. Right? This is the thing you must remember. Okay, just in case if they talk to you about it. Okay, so in many welfare countries, okay, when they say they pay high taxes like 40%, 50%, we're talking about a marginal income tax. Okay, average income tax rates for most developed countries is about 30%. Okay, for Singapore, average tax that a person pays is about 10% to 15% max. Okay, average. I'm not even talking about the two tiers. Okay, but of course, Singapore, as I told you before, we have CPF. So if you equal it out, it's all about the same. Okay, 30% of the income earned every month will be so-called given away. Okay, 10% to the government for tax, 20% to CPF. Okay, so do take note of this. So this is what we call a progressive income tax. Okay, why is progressive income tax a fiscal is a automatic stabilizer? Okay, as number one, okay, during a time of economic recession, right, disposable income level will drop. So AD will drop. Okay, so when AD drops, because disposable income levels drop, right, so consumers spend less, AD drops, you might risk actual growth worsening. Okay, so the government is supposed to come in with a fiscal policy, but okay, with a progressive income tax system, okay, some workers, okay, would pay less tax as they fall into a lower income tax bracket. In fact, let's say you earn $12,000, right, and you got unemployed straight away. In a sense, you will still pay less tax, right? Previously you pay 1150, now you don't pay at all. Okay, Ken? So in a sense, you don't lose $12,000, you lose $12,000 minus 1150. Okay, Ken? So what happens is that means that what is disposable income? After tax income. Remember that. Disposable income just after tax income will not drop as much. Okay, so it helps to dampen the effect. So that means that AD might not drop as much without the government doing anything. Understand? No understand, you can just ask. Basically, for example, let's say by right during a time economic recession, disposable income levels drop by 30%. So AD might drop by 20% depending on multiplier effect, okay? Or drop by 50%, let's say, okay? However, with a progressive income tax, disposable income levels might not drop by 30%. It might only drop by 20% because a lot of these workers, they will pay less tax already as they will go back to a lower marginal income tax bracket. So without the government doing anything, it helps to dampen the potential drop in AD. Okay, Ken? So that's progressive income tax. Why is it an automatic stabilizer? Now, to be truthful, even if it's a normal income tax bracket like proportional income tax, they will also have dampening effects, okay? But we usually talk about it as progressive income tax, okay? Proportional income tax system is a flat income tax system. Means everyone pays the same percentage. That's proportionate. Okay? So a typical one is if you go to church, okay, and you learn about tithing, okay? So tithe is a proportional tax. Everyone must pay 10%. Okay? Faith is good business. You know Star Vista? You know Star Vista? Star Vista, the shopping center at Buona Vista MRT station. Have you been to Buona Vista MRT? There's a shopping center next to it, right? Star Vista. That's 50% owned by a church. Okay, the church is fully paid. Okay, the whole building cost about $1 billion. Okay, to build. The church paid it off $533 million cash in 2 years. So yeah, that church has about 34,000 people. Let's say on average, if one person pays a tithe and offering of $1,000, okay, every month this earnings will be $34 million per month. Okay, tax free. Okay, so God's great favor is on that church. Okay, so yeah, so progressive income tax. Okay, again. So you'll be thinking like, wow, $600 million, $533 million. Imagine if you don't use it to build the church auditorium. But they can give, let's say, if they can give $1,000 to one person, they can give to 533,000 people already. Right? Okay, again. But anyway, okay, come. So let's go for, okay, that's not the main issue. The main issue is that tithing is a proportional income tax. Okay? Okay, so average income tax, progressive income tax. Okay, so that's a automatic stabilizer. The next stabilizer is welfare benefits. Okay, is an automatic stabilizer. Okay, as during a time of what is welfare benefits? Basically, income transfers. Okay, there are basically two kinds of income transfers: unemployment and low income benefits. Okay, so when you're unemployed, the government gives you some money. Okay, in other countries, when you have lower income, they might transfer some money to you. Okay, so it's an automatic stabilizer. As same thing during a time of recession, right? People become unemployed, workers become unemployed. Disposable income drops to zero, right? By right. However, with welfare benefits, okay, unemployed workers will still have some income to spend. So AD might not drop as much. Okay, so the key thing is that automatic stabilizers, they are just systems put in place in the government, okay, fiscal system, welfare benefits and progressive income tax that will help to dampen the potential, can you see? They help to dampen the potential huge swings of AD due to recession and economic boom. Okay? So these are two things you must know, that's all. Okay, they won't test you, but it's good to know just in case they just come up with that term in the case study. Okay, more importantly is your discretionary fiscal policy. Okay, now automatic stabilizers help to dampen the huge swings, but they are not enough to prevent the various problems, to solve the various economic problems. Okay, they're not huge enough. Okay, so thus, okay, government has to adopt discretionary fiscal policy. Discretionary means they do it with purpose, right? Do it discreetly, do it with purpose. Okay, with discretion. Okay, it comes the word discretion. So discretion means you do it something on purpose. Okay, so they do something on purpose. Fiscal stabilizers are known as non-discretionary because you don't have to do anything. Okay, so this is discretionary. So there are two kinds of discretionary fiscal policy. Okay, not two kinds. You have discretion. I don't say two kinds lah. Okay, discretionary policy is to deal with the fiscal budget. Okay, fiscal means budget. Fiscal means government budget. So it involves either, okay, a change in G and or a change in T. G is government spending, T is tax revenue. Okay, so basically expansionary. So you have two kinds of FP. Have I gone through this with you all? No, okay. Number one, okay, is what we call expansionary FP. Okay, expansionary FP means what? You want to expand AD. That's all. Sorry, AD, right? ADC CGI X minus M, right? So you have two ways. You either increase G. G is what? Government spending, right? Increase G. So when you increase G, increase AD already, right? Then through the multiply effect, leads to a multiplied increase in real national output. Okay, so your goals are achieved, economic growth achieved. Okay, the other way is you decrease T. T is tax, right? You decrease T. How do you link it to AD? So you can, there are two kinds of T. You can decrease personal income tax, right? So yes, you link to disposable income, then increase in ability to consume, increase in consumption, then increase in AD, and then yada. Right? Straightforward. It's all like that only. Okay. Next one, the other tax is decrease in corporate tax. Corporate is in companies income tax. Right? What happens? Increase in after tax profits first. Okay. Then increase in investors' confidence, increase in investment, increase in AD. Now, even if you just straight even if you from here you link it to investment straight away, you will not fail. You understand? It might drop from an A to a B. You understand? The key thing is you got to link it to AD. Link it to the components of AD. That's all. Okay, you don't have to study too much. Understand? So this expansionary FP. The second one, second type is what we call contractionary FP, which is what? Can we make a guess? Expansionary means you want to expand AD. So contractionary means? Just decrease AD. That's all. Decrease AD. Guys. Even though it's A levels, but don't worry. Okay, it's not that complex. Okay, don't worry. It's not that complex. Okay. It's okay. So contractionary FP. Even without teaching you, what do? Expansionary is increase G, right? So contractionary is decrease G. That's it. Then you link it to AD. That's all, right? Don't memorize it blindly. You get it? Don't memorize it blindly. Okay, can? Okay. So then after that, same thing like through the multiply effect, it leads to a multiply. Must be careful. Be careful though. So you see, sometimes when I say relax, but you go ahead and just do like that, then wrong already. Why wrong? Will government want to aim for a drop in real national output? No, right? But what would they aim for? Multiply effect through multiply decrease in AD, so that they will have a lower demand pool inflation and price stability. Understand? So the only time where a government adopts a contractionary FP is that they want to control demand pool inflation. Do take note. Okay, right here. Do take note. The only time a government, okay, adopts a contractionary FP, contractionary FP is to achieve price stability by controlling demand pool inflation. Okay, that's the only time. So other than decrease in G, what's the other way? What's the other thing? Decrease in tax, increase in tax. Understand? Then you link it to AD. Link it to drop in AD. You decrease tax, disposable income increase. You increase tax, disposable income decreases, consumption drops. Okay? You increase corporate tax, investment drops. Okay? Now, so two kinds of FP, straightforward, that's it. Nothing already. Okay? Then the main the main part that you must know is the limitations of fiscal policy. Okay, so if you look at the notes, okay, limitations are all here. Okay, bam, 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 bam. Okay, can over here. Now, don't need to bother about loanable funds. Okay, this one you can just forget it or delete it. Okay, now, of course, there's this thing called the supply side effect. Okay, I'll go through later. So, but basically, just to remember the acronym I will give you is called DISCO. Okay, so DISCO. So what it stands for? Number one, D, domestic market size. Okay, so I'm going to explain a bit more. For countries with small domestic market, okay, fiscal policy to influence domestic consumption, C, to influence AD, to increase or decrease AD, might be limited, as C comprises a smaller component of AD. So example, Singapore versus Indonesia. Okay, Singapore fiscal policy is limited. Our market size is small. So if the government lower income tax to stimulate domestic consumption to grow the economy, might be limited compared to Indonesia. Indonesia, yes, you lower income tax, 300 million people will have higher income levels. So consumption will increase way more. Singapore only 5 million, right? Okay, trying to push it 10 million by 29, is it? I can't remember. Okay, can? Singapore's birth rate has dropped to an 8-year low. Okay, news just came out, 1.14. Okay. So next, I is what? What do you think? The limitation of fiscal policy. What do you think? Investment, yeah, correct, right? Because you see, corporate tax to increase investment, as I told you right at the beginning when we learned, anytime we talk about investment, the factor that will affect the success will be a level of investors' confidence. Okay, so if investors' confidence is low, then lowering of corporate tax might not be able to increase investment as much. Okay, so don't have to go and read at the end of the day what affects investors' confidence. Remember the mechanism. The mechanism. Expected profitability. That's the key thing. Expected profitability. Okay, Ken? So if investors' confidence is low, corporate tax will not be able to increase investment as much. So just to remember that. Okay. Then next, S. S, amount of spare capacity. Okay, amount of spare capacity. Okay, because spare capacity, if country has, okay, let me revise spare capacity again. Spare capacity is what? The difference between full employment output and actual output. Okay, so remember that. So if there's a lot of difference, a lot of spare capacity. Zero difference means zero spare capacity. So if country has very little spare capacity, then expansionary FP would not achieve actual growth, but risk demand pull inflation instead. Okay, so that's for DISCO. Okay, haven't yet, just this only, right? Okay, C is a bit special. Okay, a bit special. Now, if you ask me about policies, you need to memorize some of this, especially C, because one thing about case study is that they can ask you specifically. Okay, if they ask you questions like, most questions are like that, okay, 12 marks. If you look at some of the questions, okay, they can ask you like, discuss the effectiveness of various policies used to achieve growth. Then you can come up with any limitations of fiscal policy. But they can give you a 4-mark question and ask you, explain how crowding out effects might affect the success of FP. Then you have to explain crowding out effects. Okay? So what are crowding out effects? Okay, they are basically, okay, it is an effect where an increase in G would crowd out private investment, leading to a drop in investment. Okay, so what happens is that G goes up but I goes down. What happens to AD? AD might not increase, correct? AD might not increase, and then you defeat the purpose, right? Because by right you want to increase G to increase AD, correct? So now you increase G, you actually cause a drop in I. Okay, why? Because it crowd out private investments. Okay, so basically there are two kinds of crowding out effects. Okay, A, what we call financial resources crowding out. Okay, what happens is that if a government needs to borrow to finance its spending, okay, just remember that if a government needs to borrow to finance its spending, it competes with the private sector for funds. Okay, so they borrow from the public, borrow from the private sector. Okay, they borrow from the private sector. How they borrow? They sell bonds. Okay, they sell bonds, government bonds. Okay, so it borrow, competes. So what happens is that it drives up borrowing costs, i.e. interest rates. Okay, drives up borrowing costs. So investment will go down instead. Okay, because now borrowing cost goes up. Okay, if a government has to borrow from the public. Okay, that's all you know. The second thing is, okay, the second one is what we call physical resources crowding out. Okay, stay with me, okay? Physical resources. So for Singapore, we do have a lot of financial resources, in fact very little, because the government has lots of reserves. So we don't borrow from the Singapore government doesn't borrow from the private sector, okay, or from the public. Okay, they finance its own spending through our reserves. Okay, but for Singapore, we face a lot of physical resources crowding out. Okay, when a government increases spending, okay, it competes with the private sector for physical resources. What are the physical resources? Such as land and labor, right? Okay, land and labor. So what happens? Then it will drive up land costs, rents, and drives up labor costs. What's labor costs? Side of view. What's labor costs? Wages, right? Drives up rent and wage. So cost of production increases. So investment goes down. Okay? So for Singapore, it's like this. Okay? A lot of physical resources crowding out. Okay? So DISCO, okay? Domestic market size, investors' confidence, spare capacity, crowding out effects, and the last one, opportunity cost. Okay? Basically, an increase in G might incur opportunity costs. Okay? Such as less funds to provide other public amenities. Okay? Can? Of course, there are others. Okay, if you read yourself or somewhere, there are others. Okay, but you don't have to memorize everything. This is good enough. Okay, because most of the time you still have 2 to 3 max, 2 to 3 limitations. Okay. And most of the time, the other factors are always subsumed under the IC, okay, under the investor's confidence. Okay, stay me, okay? Stay me. I want to finish up all the macro policies today, and that's it. It's over. Okay, Cam? In fact, what I'm doing now is I'm actually revising ADS also. Okay, ADS analysis. Okay, so the third part for fiscal policy is this part here. Okay, supply side effect of expansionary FP. Okay, what we call fiscal policy with supply side effects. Okay, so as much as possible, governments want to adopt fiscal policy with supply side effects. Okay, so there are basically few ways how fiscal policy has supply side effects. Okay, when there's a decrease in corporate tax, so increase in after-tax profits, increase in investors' confidence, right? Then increase in investment. So increase in AD, but I told you investment is a special component, it affects AS too. So what happens is that used to increase in capital stock accumulation, because investment is on capital goods. So just use this term, increase in capital stock accumulation, increase in productive capacity, right? Then increase in RIS, supply side effects. Okay, another one is when you increase G. Okay, and this G is on public infrastructure, such as roads, hospitals, right? Okay, schools. So increase in the amount of capital, okay, in the economy, right? Then increase in same thing again, productive capacity, increase in LRS. Okay, when I talk about increase in capital, is we talk about capital factor of production, okay, capital stock, not your money. Okay, remember that it's not your money. Okay. How about decreased personal income tax? Do they have supply side effect? Gonna I'll make a try. Decrease in personal income tax, increase in disposable income, right? So now let's say previously, if you start work a bit longer, you earn 2k more, but out of the 2k, 40% is taxed to the government. So effectively, you only earn 1.2. Okay, so you'll be thinking like, okay, should I work more? But if I lower the income tax to 10%, you work a bit more, you 2k, you 90% you take back, you take 1.8k back, you take an extra $600 more back home, right? So what happens is that maybe there's a higher incentive to work. Like, okay, worth it, okay, to go and work longer hours, because in a sense, I still take back quite a lot of income compared to other countries where I have to pay way higher income taxes. Okay, so increase incentive to work, increase in the quantity and quality of labor, increase in LRAS. Okay, so these are 3 ways where fiscal policies have supply side effects. Okay, stay with me, okay, stay with me, okay. Okay, just have to put this in. That's all, really. Now, next one, monetary policy. Okay, monetary policy, same thing again, is to influence AD. Okay, is to influence AD, sorry. Okay, can you see? Okay, we don't need to worry about Singapore fiscal policy, okay? Don't worry, I will go through a recap next time, okay? Okay, monetary policy. Can you see that? Part 2. So, monetary policies, okay, it affects, okay, consists of influencing, okay, A, influence money supply, okay, B, influence interest rates, C, influence exchange rate. But to be honest, you have already learned it. This is the interest rate effect, the interest rate mechanism. Think about it, cost of borrowing, rate of return. This is the exchange rate mechanism. Okay, depreciation of currency, how it affects price of exports, price of imports, price of imported inputs. So you're not learning anything new. Okay, it's just the name monetary policy. Okay, so step by step. Okay, let's talk about it. Money supply. Sorry, let me just. Okay, now, of course, monetary policy is also divided into 2 parts. Okay, expansionary Same thing again, expansionary monetary policy, okay, and contractionary monetary policy. Yeah, okay. Especially monetary policy is just increase AD. Contractionary monetary policy is decrease AD. Okay, so it's like the same term. So expansionary monetary policy basically has three parts. One, you increase money supply. Can I put MS? So MS IR ER. Okay. Okay, 2 minutes breather, okay. Okay. Can I? Okay, stay me, okay. Fast one, okay. So well, we just go ahead, very fast one. Okay, so increase in money supply will lead to decrease in interest rates. So do take note of that. Okay, money supply affects interest rate. Okay, so you don't have to really. It's not really like tested. Okay, so you don't have to know like thoroughly about it. Okay, don't waste time. Okay, I don't need to waste time. The main thing is interest rate policy. So first one, okay, just remember that let me just write here lah. Okay, so basically in econs, what is the thing that determines interest rate? Money supply and money demand. Okay, money supply and money demand. So if a government wants to lower the interest rates, she lowers it by increasing money supply. So interest rate goes down. Okay. So of course, when you go to high levels, you then learn about the what do you call it? The motives of money demand. What affects money demand? Okay. Well, if you realize, money supply is vertical. Why? Because it's independent of interest rates. Okay, is determined by government policies basically. Okay, and government policies are independent of interest rates. Okay, they are dependent on what? The environment, the macroeconomic goals. But money demand, is it affected by interest rate directly? Yes, right? Because interest rate affects borrowing costs. So lower interest rate, you demand more money. Okay, because you want to borrow more to spend. Okay, so they will not test you. How does the government increase and decrease money supply? Okay, but let's go right here. Okay, government, okay, influences money supply by A, okay, buying and selling of government bonds. Bond is just a contract. Buying, when you buy bonds, you are asking the private sector to exchange their money for the government bond. So the amount of money in the economy will go down. Okay? Because the government exchange a piece of paper for your money. Okay? The bond is a piece of paper. Then on the flip side, they want to increase money supply, they buy back your bonds. They buy back a piece of paper. Okay? Now it's not a physical paper. Last time it's a physical paper. Okay? Long time ago. Now it's all electronic. Okay? So last time it's a physical paper. Okay? You buy from the government or the company give you a piece of paper. The paper is like an IOU. Okay? Then, or sometimes they can influence the what we call the RR, the required reserves ratio of the bank, triple R. So this is how much reserves the bank must keep, okay, inside the bank. Okay, most country is about 10 to 20%. Okay, so means what? That means that if RRR is 10%, bank can lend up to 90% of her deposits. Okay, can? So can you see how powerful the reserve ratio is? Okay, so during the global financial crisis, a lot of Western countries actually push it down to lower than 10. Okay, but it's very risky, yeah, right now, because all it takes is just 80% to 90% of the depositors draw out the money, then the bank will become bankrupt. Okay? Okay, that's all you know. Still okay? Huh? So, but they won't test you, huh? So just need to remember, when you decrease money supply, you decrease interest rate. How do you expand? You use the interest rate mechanism. Okay, there is another special monetary policy known as quantitative easing, QE. Okay, so what policy is this? Okay, so as I told you, right, traditional. So this one just remember, okay? Traditional monetary policy to influence money to change money supply is through buying and selling of bonds. Okay? Huh? But during the global financial crisis, you can just listen to this part, huh? Of 2008. Okay, you just remember that there is a huge lack of liquidity, i.e. amount of cash, okay, in the economy. So even if the government wants to sell bonds, okay, and buy bonds, okay, during this time, the government wants to lower interest rate, right? Lower interest rate, what do? They buy the bonds, remember? Buy the bonds. Okay, it's not, I should, my fault. Buy bonds should be, alamak, buy bonds should be increase my supply. And finish this, then we can go for a break, okay? When you buy bonds, the government exchange money for your bonds. Okay? So my supply goes up. You sell bonds, my supply goes down. Because the government exchange that bond with your money. Okay, so there's less money in the economy. Okay? But don't worry about this, okay? Okay? So during the crisis, right? there's a huge lack of cash in the economy. So even if the government used its existing money supply to try to buy back the bonds, it was not enough. So you just remember that the government then decides to, or the central bank, okay, the central bank decided to print money. Okay, decided to print already. Traditionally, buying and selling of government bonds involves the using of the existing government reserves. Okay, now they decide to print the money, and they don't just buy government bonds, they buy company bonds. They call it private assets. Okay, because a lot of these private companies, they are going bankrupt or they went bankrupt, so they needed cash. So the government printed the money and buy the private assets. Okay, the key thing is that what's the main difference is that increase in availability of funds for lending. Then what happened? You link it to lending. Okay, that's QE, and it will drive down interest rate too. This one, basically, you think of QE as extreme increased money supply. Okay, it's the same thing. Think of QE as an extreme increase in money supply. That's all. Okay, huge increase. Can I? Okay. But nowadays, I don't think they will test you on QE. QE was very popular 2 years back. Now they won't test you, I think. Because remember, your A levels is always set 2 years back. Okay, so the context is 2017. 2017 context, QE is a long past history. QE is in 2008, 2010. Okay. In fact, the past few years, banks are scaling down the QEs. Okay, can? Why they are scaling down the QE? Because they're very afraid that there's too much money in the economy. Right? Because they print money and put it in the economy. If there's too much money in the economy, what happens? You risk inflation. Okay, you risk inflation. Okay. So next, okay, interest rates. So second policy, okay, interest rate policy. This is the one that is very important. Okay, so what happens is that, so just remember, expansionary FP interest rate policy okay, it's over here. Okay, expansionary monetary policy. Okay, so it's all put it together. So but I just explain for you. Okay, expansionary interest rate policy, just remember they want to lower interest rate. Okay, that is really an interest rate mechanism, right? Okay, let's revise the interest rate mechanism. How do you elaborate you write out the whole interest rate mechanism. So when there's a decrease in interest rate, what happens? You link interest rate to cost of borrowing. Cost of borrowing goes down. People borrow to do two things. Borrowing increases, increase investment and consumption. Right? Increase the AD, Okay? Interest rate also affects what? Affects rate of return, right? Rate of return on savings goes down. So saving goes down, consumption goes up, AD goes up. What else? When interest rate goes down, what happens? Rate of return of currency goes down. Correct? So what happens is that currency, they will lead to a outflows of hot money. So supply of currency goes up, exchange rate goes down, depreciates, and then you invoke the exchange rate mechanism. But usually for interest rate policy, we don't write about the exchange rate policy. We don't write which part, unless it's like very holds many marks, like 8 marks, then you write this. Usually we write this part. Okay, We don't talk about exchange rate. Unless they ask you, how does interest rate affect exchange rate? Then you talk about that. Okay, how does interest rate affect exchange rate? So let's revise exchange rate. So I'm revising quite a few things. Okay. Okay, let me go through this part. Then take a 20 minutes breather. Okay. Then I talk about the exchange rate policy, supply side policy, and that's it. Then you can relax again. Then effectively wrap up already. The whole still got macro conflicts. Okay, macro conflicts I'll do it next week. Okay, very, very short one. Okay, not really, don't know much. Okay, I can just explain, we see how. Okay. Or actually, this I'm revising your ADS also. Literally revising your ADS. Okay. Now, so I'm going to revise the exchange rate. Went through before. Let's talk about it. What affects exchange rate? Okay. Let's say ringgit per SGD. Always remember what affects currency's exchange rate is always demand of currency, supply of currency. So this is like the SGD market. Remember that, Been through this quite a few times, right? This is the quantity of SGD. Okay? So it's a bit different. The quantity of SGD here is different from the quantity of money here. They're different, The quantity of SGD. This one is the total SGD in the economy. This one is only when you exchange SGD in the foreign exchange market, when you exchange the money changes. Okay? Now, supply of SGD is affected by two main things. Number one, it's affected by import spending. Okay? When Singapore spends more import, they will supply the SGD more. Then Singapore's exchange rate will go down, depreciates. Okay? Number two is affected by outflows of hot money. Or FDIs, investments. Okay, usually we talk about hot money. Most of the time we talk about hot money. But outflows of hot money is affected by interest rates. When interest rate goes down, then rate of return on the SGD goes down. Then outflows of SGD, of hot money, goes up. Supply of SGD goes up. Exchange rate goes down. Okay? Demand for SGD affected by two things. It's the exact opposite. Number one is affected by export revenue. Okay, so it's the exact opposite. So if export revenue goes up, when Singapore sells more exports, people have to pay Singapore companies SGD. So they have to exchange and demand more SGD. So Singapore's exchange rate goes up. Number two, inflows of hot money and FDIs. It's the same thing, right? Interest rate goes up, rate of return of SGD goes up, right? People want to hold on to Singapore dollar. Inflows goes up, demand of SGD goes up, exchange rate goes up. Okay? Okay, do take note that exchange rate is a two. Every time something happens to a currency market, it happens to two currency market. Okay, it happens to two currency markets. Okay, not one, two. Okay, two currency markets. For example, let's say Singapore sells more exports to Malaysia. In the SGD market, the demand SGD will go up, right? But you can also explain the other way. In the ringgit market, the supply of ringgit will go up. There are two ways to explain. Okay, then two ways, because when Singapore sells more exports to Malaysia, it's also saying that Malaysia buys more imports from Singapore. Okay, so if it's SGD market, if you explain SGD, right, that means that if Singapore sells more exports to Malaysia, demand of SGD will go up, right? So Singapore's exchange rate appreciates. But on the flip side, it's the same thing. It happens simultaneously. Okay, if Malaysia, let's say I change the ringgit market, then Malaysia buys more import from Singapore, supply of ringgit goes up, so shifts to the right, then ringgit will depreciate. Okay, can? Okay, but actually, if you think deeply, you might get confused. You'll be thinking like, how won't the exchange rate go back to the norm again? Means let's say for Malaysia, let's say they buy more from, okay, let's say Singapore, Singapore export goes up, right? Exchange rate appreciates, right? Right now, exchange rate appreciates. But when exchange rate appreciates, what happens in Singapore's export price competitiveness? It will go down, because now Singapore exports become more expensive. Singapore exports become more expensive, assuming PDX is more than 1, they will sell less exports, right? Then demand will go back down again. Okay, Ken? So theoretically, to be honest, if all countries in the world, if they do not intervene in the currency market, then the currencies are supposed to reflect the true purchasing power of every country citizen. Okay, Ken? So for example, let's say if Malaysia, the cheeseburger in Malaysia costs 2 ringgit. If the Singapore, in Singapore it costs $2, then actually the real exchange rate should be 1:1. Okay, $2 is to 2 ringgit. Okay, it's just that, why is it not like that? Okay, why is it not that? In fact, Singapore dollar is higher, right? Because you say, I think Singapore one cheeseburger $2, Malaysia maybe about 4 ringgit. About that, I don't know, about 4 ringgit, right? So by right it should be 1:2. What? Now it's what? 1:3, right? 1:3. The reason is because Singapore government wants to ensure that our dollar doesn't remain weak. Our dollar must be strong. Why must be strong? Not because a strong currency might not imply that a country is doing well. Okay, Cam? Just that the Singapore intervenes because we risk a lot of import push inflation. Okay, Cam? Okay, okay, stay with me. I'll give you a break soon. Okay, Cam? I know it's a bit heavy, but okay. So this interest rate policy. Okay, Cam? Now, okay. Tell you what. Let's take a 20 minutes breather. Okay. I already have exchange rate policy and supply side policy. Okay. Once I go through that, let's see already. So let's. Okay. Interest rate policy. Okay, Ken? So just now before the break, we covered most of the demand side policies already. Fiscal policy and monetary policy in terms of money supply and interest rate policy. Okay. Always remember the rule of thumb is that when you study government policies, the rule of thumb is that it's basically just measures done by government to influence the ADAS model to achieve the goals. So you really just need to know ICE peak, QQ plus sell plus tech, and cost of production. Okay. So we have on the final part of the exchange rate, final part of monetary policy, which is the exchange rate policy. Okay, so it's okay, all these are all limitations, but don't worry about that. Okay, Cam? So it's actually over here. Okay, number 3. Okay, exchange rate policy. Okay, number 3, page 62. I think it should be page 50 something. Okay, Cam? 51. Oh, okay, 51. Okay, Cam? So let's look at exchange rate policy. Page 51. Okay, so same thing again. There's expansionary exchange rate policy and contractionary exchange rate policy. Okay, and honestly, is the exchange rate mechanism. It's just the exchange rate mechanism. So just remember, expansionary exchange rate policy is basically, okay, to increase AD. Usually, okay, mainly, it doesn't say usually, mainly through a devaluation of the currency. Okay, it's a devaluation of the currency. So do take note, for exchange rate policies, you would say that you devalue the currency. When you devalue your currency, the currency depreciates. Okay, then you invoke the exchange rate mechanism. Okay, you invoke the exchange rate mechanism. Okay, so when currency devalues, so every time exchange rate goes down, okay, remember? Okay, I will upload the 3 mechanisms videos onto the Google Drive. So as you revise, you can just take a look at the 3 mechanism videos. Okay, so when exchange rate goes down, you think of what? Price of exports in terms of currency, foreign currency will go down, right? So I'm revising at the same time. Then assuming that PEDX is more than 1, this leads to a increase in export revenue, right? Furthermore, when exchange rate depreciates, Michael, what happens? Depreciates, yeah. When I devalue exchange rate depreciates. What happens? Next one, next branch. Price of imports, okay, in terms of domestic or local currency goes up, okay, because it's more expensive now. Assuming that PEDM is more than 1, import spending will go down. So combined effect will lead to, when X goes up, M goes down. So M goes down. When X goes up, N goes down, combined effect will lead to a increase in net exports. Okay, so AD will go up. Then of course, through the multiply effect, multiply increase in real national output. Okay, again, so that's how expansionary exchange rate policy works. So contractionary exchange rate policy, okay, works the other way. Okay, to decrease AD. Why would I want to decrease AD, Michael? Because I want to control demand pool inflation to achieve price stability. Okay, so that's for exchange rate policy. Okay, now anyway, this lecture is recorded, so it's because good. I'm going through all the policies, right? Okay, so you can just go back and watch it, but it'll be a very long video. Okay, so so basically I've already learned monetary policy in the area of money supply, interest rate, and exchange rates. Okay, so limitations of monetary policy. Okay, so just now I give you limitations of fiscal policy, which is disco. So we go to disco to dance like IMS. Okay, so you go to disco, dance like IMS. So I. So what I stand for? I over here is of course investors' confidence. Because when you lower interest rate, you want to increase investments, right? It really depends on investors' confidence. So there are some notes that if you read outside, they will use things like interest elasticity of investment, marginal efficiency of investment. These are all out of your syllabus. You do not need to use the word. Okay, but basically these are all linked to investors' confidence. Okay, what does it mean? Basically, if investors' confidence is low, Okay, investment is interest inelastic. When you see elastic, what are two terms you must know? Two terms you must use. Elasticity, so I'm revising the two terms. Responsiveness and start with P. Proportionate. Okay, so it doesn't matter what you write, you just remember these two terms. Responsiveness and proportionate. So when I say investment is interest inelastic, it means what? Price elasticity of demand, which changes first? Price changes first or quantity demand changes first? Price elasticity of demand. Price changes first, right? So interest elasticity of investment, what changes first? Interest or investment? Interest, right? So basically when we say investment is interest inelastic, it means that a lowering of interest rate leads to a less than proportionate increase in investment. Thus, monetary policy is limited in success. Understand? So let's say the government decides to lower the interest rate from 4% to 2%. That's only a 2% drop, right? But investment only increased by 1%. So it's very limited in the success. Okay, now, do you need to use the word interest elastic? Don't have to be honest. Okay, Cam? You can just say that because of a low investors' confidence, a lowering of interest rate fails to increase investment. Okay, Cam? M. Okay. M stands for import push inflationary pressures. Okay. Exchange rate mechanism has three branches. First two branches is this. Affect PX in terms of foreign currency, affects PM in terms of local currency. So when import, but at the same time, when you devalue exchange rate, the price of imported inputs in terms of local currency will be higher now, right? So inputs are cost of production. So cost of production goes up, you risk import push inflationary pressures. Okay, you risk import push inflationary pressures. Okay. P stands for price elasticity of exports and imports. Right? For exchange rate to depreciate, your exports and imports should be price elastic. Okay, so there is this thing called Marshall-Lerner condition, but you don't have to use a term anymore. So you can say that for exchange rate devaluation to improve net exports. Okay, for exchange rate devaluation to improve net exports. Okay, exports and imports must be price elastic in demand. Or okay, I read that. The combined effect, sorry, PED of export import must be more than 1. Sorry, sneeze. Okay. Okay, must be more than 1. Okay. So how do you critique? You can talk about, then you critique the elasticity of exports and imports. So you can say, oh, maybe for Singapore, for countries like Indonesia, PED of exports, so you can write example. So for example, okay, for countries like Indonesia, which export necessities. Michael, necessities PED more than 1 or less than 1? PED more than 1 or less than 1? Necessities more than 1 or less than 1 PED. More than 1, fantastic. You really have no luck, yeah. PED is less than 1, okay? PED less than 1. It's okay, you learn new things, right? Okay, why less than 1? Because consumers cannot be responsive to changes in price. I increase the price of rice, can you eat less? You can eat less, but not much, right? You still cannot cut that much. But if I increase the price of cars, you can stop driving cars, okay, and take MRT, okay, that kind of stuff. So PED is less than 1. So a depreciation, a devaluation of rupiah might not, okay, increase indoor exports because PED is less than 1. Because for export revenue to go up. When exchange rate goes down, your PD of X must be more than 1. Understand? Okay, again. So that's how you do an evaluation. Okay, and finally S. S is amount of spare capacity again. Okay. So actually, if you think about it, if you cannot remember anything for limitations of demand side policy, you just remember spare capacity and investors' confidence. Okay, Ken? Okay, I have effectively covered all the policies already. Okay, all the demand side policies. Okay, so for demand side policy, let's recap. Divided into 2 types. A, okay, okay, A is your fiscal policies. Okay, it involves G or T. Okay, 2 is your monetary policies. Divide into 3 types. What are 3 types? A, money supply, especially QE. QE is extreme money supply policy, increase money supply. Okay, B, but at the end of the day, QE, you cannot remember anything, you just say increase money supply. Your answer should revolve around interest rate, because when you increase money supply, what happens to interest rates? It goes. When you increase money supply, what happens to interest rate? It goes down, right? Just goes down, okay? So interest rate goes down, then you invoke the interest rate mechanism, cost of borrowing and rate of return, okay? And the last one, exchange rate policy. Okay, again? Everything linked to AD, okay? Then, of course, you also do know a bit of fiscal policy with supply side effects. Okay? And do know all the limitations. Okay? So the limitations are, okay, disco, go to disco and dance like EAMS. Okay, again? And the last one, supply side policy. Okay? Supply side policies is in page. Okay, Singapore's policy, don't worry about it, okay? Don't worry about it. You can go back and read. I will go through a bit. Okay? Supply side policy. Page what for your? Number 4. Page 55. So I'm basically just summarizing all the stuff. Okay, you want, you can go back and just read up the notes or read up your own notes, no problem with that. But honestly, you just need to know all this, because everything revolves around the ADS analysis. Okay, so supply side policies. They are just policies to influence the aggregate supply and economy, okay? So supply side policies can be divided into, okay, A, what we call long run supply side versus short run supply side policy, SSP, okay? Long run means affect the productive capacity, i.e. your LRAS. Short run affects your, what considered SRAS curve? Your cost of production. Okay? Can? Or sometimes we divide it into market oriented versus interventionist policy. Okay? So if you look at it, there's certain things. You can see market oriented, interventionist. Okay, but honestly, you do have to use those terms. Okay? Basically, market oriented means allowing the market to work more. Okay? Interventionist is basically more government intervention. Okay? Now, you do not need to really read the notes per se. In fact, over here, I can just ask you, what's an example of a short run supply side policy? Yeah, example. What can a government do to lower cost of production? what can they do? Sorry? Subsidies. That's it, right? So examples of short-run supply of short-run supply side policy. Okay? Producer subsidies. Now, how do you expand the answer? When there's a producer subsidy, you lower cost of production, right? So SRAS will shift upwards, right? Then what happens? You draw a diagram, you show real national output increasing, right? What's the limitation of subsidies? That's a bit of microeconomics, right? What's the limitation? Can you all come up with a limitation of a producer subsidy? Complacency, right? So lead to inefficiency, right? It's not new. You get me now? It's not new. What else? Every time a government spends, it incurs opportunity costs. Right? Not? So this is really repetitive. Okay, it's really repetitive. Okay, so limitation. You can think about complacency. Okay, you can think about what is that again? What do you say? Opportunity cost. Yes. Okay, other things it can be like short. Short. Usually it's producer subsidy. Okay, but do take note. Is this part of G under AD? Not really. Okay, not really. Why? Because this is giving money to the producers. Correct? G, right, is not money, right? G is what? G is demand for final goods and services. So the G, right, is if I give money, let's say Singapore government decides to give $100 to every Singaporean. Is that part of a G component of AD? No, it's not. Always remember that. Because it's just money. Okay? But if the government decides to give a loaf of bread to every Singaporean, is that part of G? Yes, because it's a good. Understand? So over here, it's just giving cash. So it affects cost of production. It doesn't affect the G of AD. But does it affect the G of the budget? Yes. Okay, the G in the budget, right, and the G in the AD, they're different, okay? The G in the budget is the government spending. The G in the AD is government spending on final goods and services. Again, welfare payments, are they part of a G in the government budget? In the government budget, yes. But is it part of a G in the AD component? No, because welfare payments is just transfer of money. Okay, so do take note of this, okay? So, now, long run supply side policies is more important. Generally divided into A, okay, what we call market-oriented policies. So market-oriented means to encourage the forces of the market to work more effectively. So things like, okay, say me, okay, deregulation. Okay, deregulation. Okay, when you deregulate, so it makes the ease of doing business higher, right? Higher ease of doing business. Okay, so for example, actually the example you can just take it from the case study, but just for example. For example, it takes less than a day to set up a company in Singapore. Whereas if you go to a lot of other countries, it can go up to a month, okay, or even 3 months. Okay, in Cambodia, it can go up to 2-3 months, depending on which agent you employed. Okay, in Singapore, it takes less than a day. Okay, but however, in Singapore, when you let's say I want to, so let's say if I set up a company in Indonesia or Vietnam or Cambodia, I want to employ a foreign worker. Okay, you must, wherever you employ a foreign worker, what must you apply for a foreign worker? You must apply a permit. Like you all come to MDIS, you must apply for a student permit for those that come from overseas. So in other countries, you can, in a sense, try to pay some money, try to find a good agent to pass you to try to tie up with the government agencies to give you that permit. In Singapore, wow, you cannot give money. However, you also don't know what's the reason. Okay, you can just send a permit, okay, apply a permit, and then you get rejected, and then they will tell you the reason. Then you have to try to find some ways or what. Okay, So deregulation, higher ease of doing business. When the higher ease of doing business, what happens? How do you link it to LRAS? Yup, you can say that. Okay. So increase investment, increase in capital stock accumulation, then increase in productive capacity, increase in LRAS. So you achieve potential growth. Okay? You can also just say increase in enterprise, entrepreneurship. Right? There are 4 factors of production, right? Capital, enterprise, labor, and land. Sell. Okay? What else? Market-oriented policy. Privatization. Okay? Privatization means government companies turning by private. Okay? So, Singapore was very huge on that in the 90s. Okay? Goh Chok Tong came out and said that I want to privatize all our government companies like SMRT, okay, Trans Island, okay, SBS, okay, Singtel, they all were privatized. Okay, why privatize? Okay, so when you private, okay, what happens is that private companies are meant to be more due to the profit motive. Private companies tend to be more efficient, okay, as they seek to drive costs down and engage in R&D to increase revenue. Okay, can? So what happened is that supposedly this, how do you link LRAS? It leads to an increase in the quantity and quality of factors of production, right? Right? Private companies will employ more efficient workers. Private companies will engage in innovation and technology to increase the efficiency and productivity of their factors of production. So increase in productive capacity, increase in LRAS. Right? Okay, so a bit like market versus market failure, right? But it's market failure, right? So real life case study, okay? One of the biggest reasons why SMRT has been breaking down for the past many years. It's improving, but it's still breaking down because when they were privatized, when SMRT, when SBS was privatized, okay, what happened is that the company focused on increasing revenue. How do they increase revenue? Not by R&D, by building shops above MRT stations, by advertising space. So last time during my time, you don't have like banners and advertisements on the MRT doors. So they did that, okay, increase the revenue, okay? But at the same time, they drive costs down. How do they drive costs down? They employ less workers. Okay, they set workers and then employ. So for example, let's say, okay, I have 2 workers, right? Okay, each person I pay 3K, 6K, right? I set one, I pay the other person 5K. The other person seems very happy, like earn 5K, 2K more. However, she still must do 2%'s job. So the company happy, nah? Happy, right? Instead of spending 6K, I only spend 5K, right? So and then the person that earned 5K, he's also happy that he's not the one that lost the job, right? Okay, Ken? So, and more importantly is, what happened is that they cut down on one very big cost. What cost? What do you think? One very big cost. Sorry? Drivers, they can how can they drive down the cost? They can either pay them lower wages. That's one. Or number 2, they can increase the duration of the train journey, right? Right? Means have more trains, make the worker work more. Right? Give you same pay, make you work more. You don't want to work, I sack you, I find another one. Kind of stuff, right? Okay? But one big cost is actually maintenance cost. Okay? They actually stop maintaining the tracks, stop maintaining the trains. Okay, Ken? So that's the reason why trains keep breaking down. Okay, Ken? So that's the market failure. Okay, Ken? So there are quite a number. Just remember these 2 market-oriented policies is good already. Okay, Ken? Another one is, of course, lowering of corporate tax. Why is this market-oriented? What do you think? When you lower corporate tax, will there be more entrepreneurship? Yes. When there's more entrepreneurship, means there's more market forces. Understand? So increase in after-tax profits. Okay. Then increase in enterprise. Okay. Then yada. Increase in RIS. Okay, Singapore corporate tax is only 17% in Singapore. Okay, and so interventionist policy, okay, it's all over here, yeah. Okay, can you see? Okay, all these are all basically government coming in. Okay, so interventionist policy are just more government spending on increasing QQ plus cell, okay, plus tech. So such as number one, okay, training and education of workers. Okay, so example in Singapore will be what we call the continual education and training work plan, CET for short. Okay, where governments, okay, this is a CET is a plan where the SG government, okay, allocates, okay, money for the retraining of workers, such as Skills Future credits. Okay, what is Skills Future? Okay, $5 credit, okay, given to, okay, Singaporeans age 25 and above to go for training. Okay, so that's Skills Future credits. Okay, other things can be like R&D. Okay, so for example, okay, what we call it productivity innovation credits, PIC. Okay, plan where government subsidizes a significant, up to 60% of a company, okay, measures to improve productivity through technology. Okay, this thing has stopped already. It has stopped in 2020, not last year. Last year, I think last year. Is it last year? Yeah, 2017. Okay, that's the final one. When it was first started in 2013, 2014, want to guess how many percent of the company's tech costs did the government subsidize? So if I buy a Surface Pro, right, let's say I buy this, right, the government actually give a subsidy if I buy from my company. So I made a guess in 2014 or 2013 when it was first introduced, how many percent? So let's say if I buy a laptop for $1,000, how many percent would the government subsidize in 2013, 2014? What do you think is fair? 30% is fair. Oh, okay, that's very nice. Okay, actually ours is minimum 60. Okay, it stepped down. Okay, so last year if when I buy the laptop, the government will give, if I buy for 1K, government will give $600. Okay, but there's a cap. Okay, when it was first implemented, it's very high. It's more than 60. You guess It's just for fun. More than 60. 100, more than 100. You'll be like, yeah, more than 100, 120%. So if I buy a laptop for 1K, the government will give me 1.2. Okay, give me 1.2. Okay, can? Yeah. There's a cap of, I can't remember how many K already. So quite a number of companies, what they do is, if you are a company, what will you do? Just keep buying and max the cap, right? Then the remaining other money, take the money and go for holiday. Okay, that's what my friend did. Okay, his family holiday was sponsored that year. Okay, because of this. Okay, so that's a problem. Okay, so what's the problem again? For government policies like this, straight away, what kind of cost the government must incur to ensure efficiency? Monitoring costs. Right? Monitoring costs. To ensure that, so how they monitor? You must give receipts. Okay, must give receipts. Okay, so what some people do is they buy extra, they then sell it on Carousel. Okay, and then you get back the full amount. Right? Okay, so okay, can never out. Okay, so it's always like that. Pros and cons. Okay, so This is just supply side policy. Now, so you go back and just read it up. You want to expand it, okay, you can just read it up. Okay, but at the end of the day, all these things, you just link it to productive capacity. Okay, can you see? Link it to productivity of capital stock, productivity of labor, then you link it to productive capacity. Okay, it's always like that. Okay, so limitations. So we go to disco to create to dance like imps and create riots. So basically, okay, you just think of RIOTS. Receptivity might not be good. Okay, and thus success uncertain. This is very similar, right? Can you remember where we learned this before? Under the education policies, right? In market failure. So let's say skills future. Okay? Send. Government give $5 to Singaporeans to encourage them to go for training. Okay? But up to now, the take-up rate is less than 20%. Okay? It's been implemented in 2015. 4 years, less than 20%. Why? Because a lot of people don't want to go for training. Okay? It's tiring, yeah. Tiring, okay? So that's the thing. I mean, I give you a real life example. I recently went for a SG level 1 coach theory lesson. Because I thought I want to go and do some coaching or what lah. You know, actually don't need it, but I just want to take because it's very cheap. Then the lessons were every Monday, Wednesday, Friday, 7 PM to 10 PM. So I went there, I'm like, yo, like that. Like, wow, like, okay, trying to stay awake. Okay, then I thought, never mind, still can just sit at the back, like, y'all just don't listen. Don't listen. Just keep quiet and just clock my hours. But then, all the lecturers all want to do group discussions. Every time 7 to 10 PM, out of 7 to 10 PM, 7 to 9 is group discussion. Group discussion is still okay. If you discuss something that you really learn. But at the end of the day, the group discussion is basically the teachers just want us to regurgitate the whole textbook out. So you know what I did? What I did is, because I sent my employee to go for the lesson, so what I did, I told my employee, can you help me mark my attendance? Mark my attendance. Like that. Because at the end of the day, how to pass the you know what's the requirement to pass the course? Attendance and a multiple choice test. Okay? So I just get my employee to do the attendance. Okay, and then I just went to study for the multiple choice test. And guess what? The multiple choice test was yesterday. And my employee failed the test. And I passed the test. So it's a moral story. Moral story is that moral story is, of course, if I tell you, that means that I'm good, right? It's a moral story. Right? You're like, whoa. No, it's not. The moral story is like this. Is that at the end of the day, the test is not a good test. Because it didn't allow good coaches. My employee is more passionate about coaching than me. And what kind of test? The test is purely memorization. Purely memorization. Like Heckman's theory of stage development, that kind of stuff. Okay, then what I do? So how I manage to memorize? I come up with things like riots for myself. I take the notes. Or okay, these are the 4 things in this theory. Or okay, cooperativeness, awareness, receptivity, what else? The discipline and teachable spirit. So how to remember? CARDS, cards. Right. So I'm going there. Okay, I'm going to check multiple choice and that stuff. Okay, can. So yeah, okay, can. So that's the thing. So that's another issue with limitations also of supply side policy. How effective a training program is. Okay, can. So funny in Singapore. Sports also must go through this kind of theory test. Okay. So anyway, that's another story. Now you know why Singapore sports can never climb high. Okay. So receptivity. Of course, there's a retest. So my employee passed. Okay, can. So that's one. Okay. I stands for. It can be investors' confidence. Okay, but every time talk about investors' confidence is very boring, right? So you talk about information lags. So as you study for your, especially things like biology, right? As you study for your A-levels, all these things that have huge memorization, my take is try to find some way, find some connection, then come up with a certain way to remember more effectively. Okay, can? And then you regurgitate out. Okay, can? So information lags. Okay, so another big problem with skills future is that a lot of people don't know where to apply for the programs. Okay, don't know where to apply. And who will actually need to be retrained? Younger workers or older workers? Older workers. Older workers, they are 50 plus, so are they comfortable using the internet? No, right? So that's the problem with Skills Future now, is that most of the Skills Future programs are all on the internet. You must go to the government website, log in, that kind of stuff, and it's very hard. Government websites are so poorly designed. It's like, wow, you have to read like crazy and don't know where are the link buttons, that kind of stuff. So what happens is that they always say, if you need help, call the customer service. Then you call already, and the customer service usually take about 10 minutes before they reply, right? Then once they think, oh, this is not under us, you got to call that company, call that number. Wow, you know what I mean? Younger workers like you should be okay because you are more dynamic, right? Right, more dynamic, more supposedly more adaptable, right? Okay, older workers harder. Okay, can? So older workers are very yeah, okay. So that's the thing. Okay, O. What's O? Can make a guess? What do you think? Supply side policies. O. Opportunity cost, oh, yeah. Right, opportunity cost, right? When you spend, you incur opportunity cost. What's the first priority for government spending? What's the first priority? Public goods, right? Supply side policy is a public good? No, it's not, right? So you can just expand by saying that they incur opportunity cost because when you spend on subsidies on workers, okay, you will have less resources to provide public goods. So it's very, very prescriptive. And the last one, does it take a very long, very easy to train workers? Can I train you from this to that in one day? Cannot. Time period. Okay, short term, not very successful, not very effective. Okay, long gestation period lah. Okay, and let's say if you want to build, you want to increase investments, increase the capital stock accumulation, it takes about 2 to 3 years minimum, right, to build a factory, right, to build roads. Okay. Okay, in Singapore, one good thing is if you look at it, most of the public roads are all built by the government, right? They of course they engage private contractors, but in other countries, there are some countries like Indonesia, right? They buy a big plot of land, and that whole plot of land is totally developed by the private company. Okay, when I talk about big plot of land, I'm not talking about like MDIS. I'm talking about like the whole of Bishan, that kind of stuff. Okay, and develop the whole of Bishan. Okay, can? Huh? Okay, can? So let's wrap it up. Okay. Today I have basically covered. We have already covered all the policies. All the macroeconomic policies. Okay. So in the end, honestly, you just need to remember, because remember the whole rule of thumb is basically measures to influence ADAS analysis. That's the key thing. Okay, that's the key thing. Okay, and then know the limitations. So limitations, disco, create riots, dance like imps. Dance like imps, create riots. Okay. And what are the things that are the content things that you must know? Really, is all a mechanism, right? The investors' confidence mechanism, the interest rate mechanism, the exchange rate mechanism, the causes of change in exchange rate. Today I've introduced to you the causes of change in interest rate. Okay, but actually all you know is a money supply. That's all. Okay, that's it. Then next week when we come back, it's official already. Okay, so next week, okay, I just cover one minor topic, which is the macro conflicts, which is really nothing much. Okay, and then I've given you so from then on, you have not taken it, you come to me. Okay, so it's just basically past year school prelim papers. Okay, so we will do revision using past year school prelim papers. Now, can you all who hasn't have it yet? Hey, no. Behind you. Don't go. Yeah, the sample answer, but actually all this is mostly uploaded already lah. Like just print for your physical copy. Okay. Now, let's look at the question first. I want to go back and try, if you can. If you look at it, okay, this is micro. Let's turn to page 8. Can you see? It's about SOL. Okay, so it's all about policies, increasing healthcare spending. Okay, it's actually a fiscal policy. Okay, now let's go to page 12. Can you see? Discuss the policies governments can take to boost sustainable growth. So, along this revision, I will introduce to you two extra types of growth: sustainable growth and inclusive growth. But honestly, sustainable growth is 70 and 80% of the answer is still on sustained growth. What is sustained growth? A combination of actual growth and potential growth. Okay, Ken? Then if you look at page 16. Okay, policy again. Discuss the effectiveness of fiscal policy and supply side policy to achieve inclusive growth. Inclusive growth is also economic growth. It's just economic growth that is distributed across all income groups and economic sectors fairly. Answer is still linked to economic growth. 80% is still linked to economic growth. Okay, Ken? So not to worry about that. So over here, if you look at DII, it's also about policy, right? How to use depreciation exchange rate or interest rate to tackle deflation. Okay? Okay, so go back, take a look. Okay, what I'll do is I will make you all write also. Okay, so maybe starting from next few weeks, okay, we have about 4 to 5 more weeks more, or 4 weeks more. So every week, what we'll do is the first half, okay, we will go through a bit. I'll ask you to write, pass it to me, mark, then go through, mark, go through, mark, go through. Okay, also is where you can start bringing all your notes. If you can't do the paper, not to worry about that. Okay, you can still do your own self-study.